UK lawmakers will debate the UK government's plans for the country on Thursday. It will be the first time most of the policies announced during the King's speech and Keir Starmer's address to Parliament will have a chance to be scrutinised by the MPs, especially the opposition MPs. DD India's Stuart Smith reports from Westminster in London.
The King and Prime Minister have outlined the measures the government will take in this new session of Parliament. Now, lawmakers will spend their first full day debating what has been promised. The vast majority of what's been announced was based on the Labour Party's election manifesto, but the detail of the bills being brought to Parliament provides the first chance to see what exactly is being proposed. While former Prime Minister, now opposition leader Rishi Sunak was already taking Labour to task over some of its bills on Wednesday, he says the Conservative Party will not oppose the government for its own sake. Changes to football governance and measures to reduce smoking were bills brought over from the Conservative government. Other bills proved more controversial. While Labour says it will spend 2.5% of its GDP on defence, the Tories said they should put a timeline on when it will increase that spending by. The leader of the Liberal Democrats wanted Labour to go further than announced when it comes to access to GPs and dentists. And the Scottish National Party said it was disappointed there were no changes to the child benefit cap, a rule that means only the first two children in the poorest families are entitled to extra funds from the government. Stuart Smith in London, reporting for DD India.
And British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is convening the European political community comprising over 40 nations at the Buckingham Palace to enhance cooperation on border security. On Thursday, Starmer will leverage his position as host of the European Forum to advocate for a renewed post-Brexit relationship between Britain and the European Union to reiterate support for Ukraine. And DD India's Ollie Barrett joins us live from London on more. Ollie, how does the new Prime Minister leverage his position for a renewed post-Brexit relationship between the United Kingdom and EU at this forum?
Well, Amritpal, it's going to be interesting because this is actually a summit that was organised by the previous Conservative government. So in many ways, an opportune coincidence for Keir Starmer that at a time when his new government takes over, saying that it wants a reset in its relationship with the European continent and with the European Union, it is hosting this European Political Community Summit at Blenheim Palace. But at the same time, the European political community is not really an organisation that takes action normally together. It's more of a talking forum discussing areas of potential cooperation. It's an opportunity for bilateral meetings, multilateral meetings on the side of the summit as well. And London will know that any reset in its relationship with the European Union would actually come from direct talks with the EU. The UK side is also stressing heading into this meeting at Blenheim Palace that it is some way off any kind of renegotiation of its post-Brexit trade deal with Brussels, and so it doesn't want to make too many statements or comments at this EPC summit, which could potentially annoy the European Union in sounding presumptuous about whether there might be some kind of decision-making changes that can happen to the Brexit relationship between the UK and the European Union. So the UK having to tread a difficult path at the EPC, but overall in tone, Keir Starmer and the UK government hopes that, as I say, it's an opportunity just to show that they can pursue slightly different relations with European capitals than perhaps were seen in the post-Brexit years under the Conservatives.
All right. And Ollie, how could we expect the deliberations on Ukraine play out or progress in this meeting?
Well, one of the key areas of concern for European leaders at the moment is the United States. Recent events in the US have led European leaders to feel more and more like they may well be dealing with a Donald Trump White House after the next US election, and that comes with potential difficulties around ongoing US support for Ukraine, or perhaps lessening US support for Ukraine if Donald Trump were to get back into office after the November election in the United States. And so European leaders are trying, when it comes to Ukraine, to show that they can cooperate as much as possible to make sure that European support for the Ukrainians in their conflict with Russia is going to be committed to, followed through upon, and is going to continue whatever happens in the United States. That said, there are some European leaders at the EPC summit who themselves are considering perhaps scaling back some of their support for the Ukrainians. So from a Ukrainian perspective, Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, will certainly hope that a forum like this can see further commitments of support and cooperation in its struggle against that Russian so-called special military operation. And a lot of these sideline talks between countries, multilateral, bilateral discussions that are going on will have that focus on Ukraine.
Ori Bharati, many thanks for joining us from London on that update on the European Political Community meeting that's happening in London. Thank you.